This evening, in the Rector's Conference, I'd like to address our entire Saint Meinrad community, those of us here in the little cloister, and those stretched out across our country and indeed around the world. And so for those folks who are not here, I say, greetings from Saint Meinrad. There was an interesting story in the BBC this week about what people in the United States are going to do with their stimulus checks. Those $1,200 little gems heading their way from the government. Some were planning to save the money. Others have chosen to buy groceries. One couple was going to combine their checks and buy a gun. Well, to each his own. The story, however, led me to ask a couple of questions. What are we going to do with this chapter of our lives? And where do we want to be on the other side of contagion? First, what are we going to do with this chapter of our lives? What are we going to do with the new insights about ourselves that we are undoubtedly discovering? There's nothing like a bit of isolation to tell us some stories about ourselves, stories that we have sometimes, perhaps often, avoided telling. Here's a little exercise. Look in the mirror in the morning, when you first get out of bed. Look long and hard and ask yourself this question. Who is this face that I confront? Outside, I'm looking like my, however many number of years, but I'm younger inside. I want to be younger, more carefree inside. What are we going to do with the insight that we gain from the merciless mirror every morning? What are we going to do with our insights about others within our contagion orbit? We're reading a lot about folks who live in abusive homes, where they are not safe and where they're not happy. We are reading a lot about those who find isolation with others. And even when they are happy, even when we love, these days find us looking at those around us with new eyes. We can really get to know people. We can get to know them and understand them more profoundly. This isolation, for those preparing for ministry, for those involved in ministry, for those who are the recipients of ministry, this isolation offers us time and focus to really get to know people, as we ought to know them. We probably can't do that in our rooms. What are we going to do with our extra time? When we find ourselves with nothing to do, will we choose boredom or another nap? Or is this the time to branch out, to find new interests, new hobbies, read new books, watch more challenging films? There is a world of art and music to explore, such that I really believe that no one need ever be bored. Perhaps it's time to take up some new pursuit. Pottery, macrame, I don't know. Do something. What are we going to do with our life of prayer? We have in these days not only the time to pray, but the real need to pray. We can devote time to praying for our brothers and sisters, our families, our friends, our communities. This is the hour of prayer. those who are sick, those who are alone, those who are in need. They need us to be their ceaseless intercessors. We're not too busy for that. If we are, our priorities are mixed up. Prayer must come first. Intercession must come first. Seeing to the spiritual needs of others, indeed, seeing to the spiritual needs of ourselves, must come first. What are we going to do with God? It is time, friends. It is past time to grow closer to God. I wonder how many folks in this crisis have turned more readily to God. Millions, I hope. I wonder how many folks have lost their faith in this crisis. Few, I hope. But for many of our brothers and sisters, faith has been hanging by a thin thread for some time. What does it mean for those folks to be cut off from the Eucharist, cut off from the sacraments, cut off from community and from the care of their fellow Christians, their pastors? We may think that this is a downtime, but I would say it is a revival time. Our work, our task as religious, as seminary faculty and formation staff, our task is to help people to do one thing, and that is find meaning in their lives. We are meaning peddlers, meaning grabbers, meaning holders, not only for ourselves, but for everyone. I was thinking about an old Baptist song the other day that might serve us well in these days. Revive us again. Here's one of the stanzas. It's too bad we don't have Deb here to play slowly in the background. Revive us again. Fill each heart with thy love. May each soul be rekindled with fire from above. Can that be our prayer in these dark days? Can we find ways to make this the opportunity for a revival, for a great awakening in our social order, in our church, in our homes, in our seminary? Revive us again. Help us, Lord, to understand. Help us to understand who we really are, not men and women wandering aimlessly in a haze, but your sons and daughters marked with the sign of the cross and figured in the stain of his blood. Help us to understand your word moving powerfully through our lives, brightening our dark days and offering healing to a culture, a world sick from something much worse than virus. A world made sick by faithlessness. Revive us again. Revive us again and help us, Lord, to comprehend the power of your word, newly risen from the grave, newly risen every day, and offering a sign of hope to those who suffer, to families who are in pain, to those who are abused, to those who are sick. The power of that word had and has the energy and the audacity to crack the stone of that borrowed grave in Jerusalem so long ago. And now, revive us, Lord. Revive us again. Revive us again and help us, Lord, to appreciate beauty in the red-tinged sky of dawn and the gray-toned clouds of water and storm. We see you, Lord, in the wonders of creation, in great canyons and in small animals. We feel you, Lord, in the glorious wind, the grace-stung rain, the excellence, the pure arete of the rising spring, and soon the longed-for summer. Revive us again. Revive us again, Lord, and help us to fathom the depth of that image in the mirror, the beauty of those aging lines, the creativity of those eyes. Help us to know what hope, what words of wisdom that mouth shall speak today. What can be experienced in the complexity of each day. Revive us again. Help us to perceive, to grasp something among us more than crisis. Help us to rise to glory day by day. Help us. We have the need, the deepest need for revival. My brothers and sisters, if we can lead ourselves to a realization of this need, we can do what we are called to do, lead the world to insight. We can do what we are called to do, each one of us, to lead a struggling and needy world to doxos, to glory, to salvation,